Hey, welcome to a very special edition of Tim's Vinyl Confessions. I'm Tim Durling. On either side of me are my kids, Jack and Marley, and the subject of today's episode is early Metallica. Today, when you're watching this video for the first time, or the day that it premiered, is actually what would have been Cliff Burton's birthday. Of course, Metallica's not original bass player, but original recording bass player. And kids are getting into Metallica, so I thought it'd be fun if we went through our collections of the first three albums, the first three Metallica albums. So that's what we're going to do on this edition of Tim's Vinyl Confession. So I'm actually going to start at the beginning, which is pre-Kill 'Em All. This cassette here, No Life Till Leather. This is the original Metallica demo tape, and of course the version I have here is the version that they put out in 2015 for Record Store Day, so this is not an original. This is on their own blackened recordings. For some reason they're having difficulties getting the rights to put it out on CD, which would be awesome if they would. So I've never opened this, never will. Made to look like just a dubbed cassette. This is the one that got things started and passed around through the underground metal scene and got Metallica noticed. So now we move on to vinyl and the debut Metallica album, Kill 'Em All. This is my version on vinyl. I was fortunate enough to find this in the late 90s. This is actually a UK version on Music for Nations Records. So this is pre-major label Metallica, UK version of Kill 'Em All. And it's not cardboard, but it's like a harder paper finish. The lyrics, credits, and Matt and I did an earlier Metallica episode where we kind of go through some of the peculiar, unique, we'll say, packaging in this. This has actually still got the original T-shirt offer inside of it, which is pretty cool. And this funny shaped sleeve that houses the actual record. So that's very, very good shape on this version of Kill 'Em All I've got. Kill 'Em All originally came out on Megaforce Records in the US, and in Canada it was on Bonsai, which is distributed by Polygram. I don't have either of those copies. It didn't come out on a major label until early 1988. By this time, of course, Metallica signed to Elektra Records, and they put them out from Ride the Lightning On. They reissued Kill 'Em All in '88, and this is a Canadian cassette of that version of Kill 'Em All. This one was unique in that it also featured Blitzkrieg and Am I Evil, which did not appear in the original album. Where they originally appeared, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So that's what the cassette looked like. And the same pictures, same lyrics and credit, not as many pictures. And of course it came out on CD as well. I didn't get, well, I was a little bit late getting the CDs. What I'll show you here is my copy of Kill 'Em All on CD. It's an Elektra copy, US. This is one that came out in the mid-90s, so it just contains the 10 songs that were on the original album. But the CD itself is one that I found is the original Canadian CD on Elektra, which does include Am I Evil and Blitzkrieg. And unlike the cassette, instead of appearing at the end of each side, they put both of those songs at the very end of the disc. So, and again, the same thing pretty much that was inside of the cassette. So now, the only other copy of Kill 'Em All that we have to talk about is Jack's. And this is Jack's copy, which he got not too long ago. This is the blackened recording version of Kill 'Em All. So from this, it doesn't look all that different. As a matter of fact, in the back does not look all that different. It's when you get down to the fine print that you'll see this is on blackened recordings. This is a Canadian copy, and the reissue does not contain Am I Evil and Blitzkrieg, which those songs appear elsewhere, and that's what the disc itself looks like. So that's another version of Kill 'Em All. Next up is the second Metallica album, Ride the Lightning. Start with my copy. This is a Canadian copy on Bonsai, which was distributed by Polygram. So they had at least major label distribution in Canada before they had it in the States. There's the sleeve. I know the reissue looks slightly different than this. And again, one of these funny shaped plastic sleeves. So here's the bonsai label. Here's the record itself. It says this side and that side. So all the song titles are listed on one side. Marley, you have a reissue of Ride the Lightning. So let's have a look at that.
Yeah, I took the sleeves separate from it.
So let me hold that up here for. So it's a little bluer than purple, I think, compared to mine. Same things on the back cover, but of course it's on Blackened Recordings, their own label. They finally got the rights to their own recordings. Should be a sleeve in there.
They don't have a sleeve, they just have the paper.
Okay, so unlike my sleeve, it's the same things, but this says yellow. It's in yellow instead of white, but it's the same content. Here's the record itself on Blackened Recordings. I could feel it's nice, thick vinyl, very good quality vinyl. And the shirt that I'm wearing is the Record Store Day 2016 shirt that Matt had made up for me, and it was designed to look like the Ride the Lightning album cover. So here is my Ride the Lightning cassette. This is a Canadian cassette on Elektra. To be specific, it's a Canadian Columbia House version of Ride the Lightning. No lyrics inside this one, so when I first found the record, it was cool to finally have the lyrics. And this is my Ride the Lightning CD. Stella's making an appearance. Hi, Stella. It's our dog, Stella. Hi, Stella. This is my Ride the Lightning CD. It's a Canadian version on Elektra, and it's a mid-90s reissue. And it has the same pictures inside of it, lyrics and credits. And Marley also has. You have Ride the Lightning on CD?
I don't.
You don't? Okay, I was mixed up. So that's not. So before we get to the big one, as they say, the influential one, there's something else I'd like to talk to you about, and that is Garage Days. So this year for Record Store Day, I'm excited to announce, for some of you that got into Metallica later on, something that came out originally in 1987, then went out of print, even though it sold over 1 million copies, is now making a comeback for Record Store Day 2018, and that is the Garage Days Revisited EP, which is originally called the 598 EP or the 998 CD. They're putting that out in many configurations in time for Record Store Day. Probably a limited amount. I do know that the CD version is actually going to come in a long box, the way that they used to be displayed in stores, so that's kind of fun. Be looking forward to that. That came out post Cliff Burton, of course. That was Jason Newsted's first recording. But why was it called Garage Days Revisited? Well, because the original Garage Days Revisited basically consisted of, well, kind of this. This is a combination, the CD is a combination of 2 EPs that came out, Creeping Death and Jump in the Fire. Creeping Death had 2 B-sides. I talked about them before, Am I Evil and Blitzkrieg. And that was called Garage Days Revisited because it was the first time that Metallica sort of professionally recorded cover versions. And that was what the cover to the Creeping Death single looked like. So it includes the 12-inch EP Jump in the Fire. That cover looked like this. So Creeping Death, as you can see here, consisted of the song Creeping Death, which was the single. Sounds funny saying the single from Ride the Lightning, backed up by Am I Evil and Blitzkrieg. And Jump in the Fire was the single from Kill 'Em All. I never thought of Kill 'Em All as having singles, but there it is. And its B-sides are Seek and Destroy and Phantom Lord live versions of those songs. So not sure where they were recorded. It doesn't exactly say. You can tell that they're early recordings. And this CD that I have is a UK version on Vertigo because they were not on Elektra in the UK. Kind of worth getting for the cover and the historical significance of it. So now we are up to the album that both Marley and Jack, stand up a little bit there and show them your shirts. Master of Puppets. Both Master Puppet shirts slightly different. So we'll start off with my vinyl version of this classic album. This is one I was fortunate to find a long time ago, kind of when I first started buying vinyl, so probably '93. And this is a Canadian version on Elektra Records that is got a plastic on it, but it's open on the side. So there you go. It's the Elektra version of Master of Puppets. Inner sleeve, band photos, lyrics, and the record itself is your typical Elektra label. Don't see very many of these anymore. I also have the blackened recordings version of Master of Puppets. Everything looks the same, of course, except the label information. And like Marley's Ride the Lightning, they did not make this into the sleeve that holds the record. This is just a sheet, a single sheet, all the same pictures and credits on it, and this is the record itself, a nice thick plastic. And my CD version of Master of Puppets is right here. This is a Canadian version on Elektra Records. I love the, I think that's my favorite version of the logo, the marble look. There's the disc itself and the band photos. And the same thing that's inside the record. And Master of Puppets. So Marley has a blackened recording version of Master of Puppets. Again, looks pretty much the same except for the label information. And of course the disc itself is going to look different. And Jack has Master of Puppets, and his is different again because his is not a jewel case. It's a digipack version, still on blackened recordings. Some were made, I guess they were made both ways, so it folds out like this, and the booklet's in here, and the CD comes in a nice little sleeve like this, which is kind of different. That's kind of unique for this one. And the last thing that I have to show you is just my cassette of Master of Puppets. This is a Canadian Columbia House version on Elektra. There's the cassette itself, and the lyrics and the credits. No band photos inside the cassette. So that's our look at the first 3 Metallica albums. Thanks, guys, for taking part in this, and we will see you later. Thank you for watching this special edition of I almost said Master of Puppets. So cliff them all. All right.